All right, let's dive in. We're going to talk about the one part of the game that, let's be honest, can absolutely make or break your entire round: putting. For way too long, we've all treated reading a green like some kind of mystical art. Well, today, that changes. We're going to turn all that guesswork into a real, repeatable science, and we're going to stop leaving strokes on the green.
So, think about your last round for a second. You're standing over a putt that really matters. Were you truly confident in your read? Or did you do the classic routine? You know the one. You squat down, you tilt your head, and in the end, you just have to trust a gut feel that, way too often, lets you down. If you're sick and tired of watching perfectly good putts die on the low side of the hole, you are in exactly the right place. And this really gets to the core of what we're talking about today. We're making a shift, moving away from that inconsistent guesswork and stepping into a system, one that's built on physics and actual measurement. Now, this isn't about turning you into a robot or taking away your natural feel. Not at all. It's about giving that feel a rock-solid factual foundation to stand on. We are moving from hoping the ball goes in to knowing exactly what it needs to do. Look, putting isn't magic, it's just physics. And don't let that word scare you. Understanding the simple forces at play, gravity and slope, is the key to unlocking some serious consistency. And to make this all super clear, we're going to use one specific example for this entire explainer: a 5-meter putt on a pretty gentle 1.5% slope. Okay, the first and honestly the most important piece of this whole puzzle is the fall line. It's a really simple idea. Just imagine pouring a bucket of water on the green right next to the hole. The path that water takes as it runs straight downhill, that's it. That's your fall line. It's like the gravitational true north of the green. It's the direction that gravity will always pull your ball towards. The absolute best way to think about the fall line is like a compass for the green. As soon as you figure out where this true north is, every single putt you face, no matter where it is, has a clear relationship to it. You're not lost anymore. You've got a fixed point to navigate from. And that leads us to 3 incredibly simple, unbreakable rules. If your ball is directly on that fall line, meaning straight uphill or straight downhill from the hole, your putt is dead straight, period. No exceptions. If your ball is to the right of that line, it is going to break to the left. And if you're on the left side of it, you guessed it, it's going to break to the right. It is that predictable and that powerful. So, okay, how do we actually measure the slope without carrying some crazy tool in our bag? We're going to turn your feel into a real number. It's a simple 3-step process. First, stand right on the fall line just below the hole. Second, take 3 big, deliberate steps straight downhill. That's about 100 inches. Now, from that spot, just look back and estimate the height difference between where your feet are and the hole. And if you look back and estimate that the hole is about 1.5 inches higher than your feet, well, congratulations, you've just measured a 1.5% slope. It's really that easy. You've now put a number on the force that's going to make your ball break. And hey, this is the exact slope of our reference putt we've been talking about. All right, so we've got our slope percentage. What's next? Well, that number lets us find our aim point. This isn't some vague idea of aiming a cup outside left. No way. The aim point is a precise calculated spot on the high side of the hole that becomes your real target. Think of it as the perfect starting line that perfectly balances out the pull of gravity on that particular slope. So for our reference putt, that 5-meter putt on a 1.5% slope, the math tells us our aim point is exactly 41 centimeters above the hole. That takes care of the line. But we all know a perfect line is totally useless without the right pace. That's where its partner comes in, the distance point. For this putt, that's 74 centimeters past our aim point. This point is what calibrates our speed. It's basically the spot the ball would stop if the hole wasn't in the way, which ensures it arrives with just the right amount of energy to drop in. And this, right here, is a huge mental shift for most golfers. We're so often taught to just roll it 12 inches past the hole, but that's a pretty blunt tool. A pro's goal is to control the ball's arrival speed at the hole, something we can measure in rotations per second, or RPS. And it turns out, the optimal speed for the ball to have the best chance of falling into the cup is a nice, gentle 4 RPS. Now, just look at how dramatic the effect of speed is. At our target speed of 4 rotations per second, the hole gives you its full, generous 4.25-inch diameter to work with. But if you hit that putt too hard, say at 6 RPS, the effective size of the hole literally shrinks down to just 2 inches.
The ball just has too much energy to be captured. And at a blistering 9 RPS, you have basically zero margin for error. You have to hit it dead center. Pace changes everything. This all brings us to the two fundamental ways you can miss a putt. The amateur miss, the one we see all the time, is the underread. The ball runs out of steam and dies on the low side, and gravity just keeps pulling it further and further away from the hole. But the pro's miss, that's the overread. By aiming high enough, the ball is always dying towards the hole as it slows down, which lets gravity give it that last little nudge for a simple tap-in.
This is it. This is the golden rule of putting. You need to burn this into your brain. If you are going to miss a putt, you have to give the ball a chance to go in. Always, always miss on the high side. Never, ever low. Okay, so theory is great, but how do we make this stuff second nature out on the course? This 4-step practice plan is the bridge. On the practice green, start by measuring the variables. Then, and this part is absolutely key, estimate your aim point with your eyes first before you check the app. This is how you calibrate your senses. Then, hit the putt, focusing on that pace. And finally, reflect. Why did you miss? Was it the read, the aim, or the speed? That feedback loop is what turns this knowledge into a real, tangible skill. And so here it is, the complete picture, the full solution for our reference putt. What started as just a simple 5-meter putt is now completely decoded. We know the 1.5% slope, we know we need a 4 RPS arrival speed, we know our aim point is 41 centimeters high, and our distance point is 74 centimeters past that. There is zero guesswork left. It's just a clear, repeatable plan for this one specific putt. So the question really isn't, what do I think this putt is going to do anymore? The only question left is, are you ready to trade in all that guessing for knowing? It's time to start putting with real confidence, with precision, and with a system that finally puts the laws of physics on your side.